You know that feeling when your alarm goes off on a Monday morning and your stomach just drops? That heavy, sinking dread that settles in before you even open your eyes? You already know what the day looks like. You already know what the week looks like. And if you're being honest with yourself, you already know what the next 5 years look like too. The same desk, the same meetings, the same paycheck that somehow never quite covers everything. That feeling is not weakness. That feeling is information. I want to talk to you today about something that completely changed the math of my life, not because I found some secret shortcut or because I got lucky, but because I discovered a way to make money that works completely differently from anything most people have ever been taught, and once you see it, you genuinely cannot unsee it. Let me start by being brutally honest with you about where I was before any of this happened, because I think you might recognize yourself in this story. There was a stretch of time where I was working constantly. Not occasionally, constantly. I was the person answering emails at 11 at night. I was the person eating lunch at my keyboard. I was the person who said yes to every extra shift, every extra project, every extra responsibility, because saying no felt like financial suicide. And the cruel joke of all of it was that no matter how many hours I poured in, the number in my bank account barely moved. I was trading my entire life, my health, my relationships, my mental clarity, my weekends, all of it, for just enough money to keep going and do it all over again. And I remember sitting there one Sunday evening, watching the sun go down, knowing that in a few hours the whole machine would start grinding again, and thinking, there has to be another way. Not a fantasy, not a lottery ticket, an actual, real, logical other way. That question cracked something open for me. Here is what nobody tells you when you are stuck in the time for money trap. The reason you feel exhausted is not because you are lazy. The reason you feel like you are running on a treadmill is not because you are doing something wrong. The system you are inside of is literally designed to pay you for your time, which means the only way to earn more is to give more time. And time is the one thing you absolutely cannot make more of. Once that hour is gone, it is gone. Your boss knows this. The system knows this. And somewhere deep down you know this too. So when I started learning about digital products, I was skeptical. I want to be upfront about that. I had heard terms like passive income before and rolled my eyes. But what I discovered was something different. Something that actually made logical sense when I looked at the mechanics of it. A digital product is something you create once, one time. You put in the work up front, and then that product exists. It can be sold to one person or to 10,000 people, and it does not require more of your time either way. There is no inventory. There is no shipping. There is no warehouse. There is no restocking. The same file, the same course, the same template, the same guide goes out to every single customer automatically. The work you did on a Tuesday 2 months ago can still be generating revenue on a Saturday morning while you are having coffee and doing absolutely nothing related to work. Let me paint you a picture of what this actually felt like the first time it happened to me. I had spent a few weekends building something, not a complicated thing, a straightforward digital resource in a topic I genuinely knew well. I set it up on a simple platform, wrote a basic description, and honestly forgot about it because I did not believe it would do anything. 3 days later, I got a notification on my phone, a sale, a real sale, from a real person I had never spoken to. While I was at my regular job, completely occupied, that thing I made sold itself. Nobody called me. Nobody needed me to show up. The exchange happened, the customer got immediate access, and the money landed in my account without me lifting a finger in that moment. I sat in my car during my lunch break staring at that notification for probably 5 full minutes. That was not a large amount of money. That is not the point. The point is that something shifted in how I understood what was possible. Because if it happened once, the only question was how to make it happen more often and more consistently. Now here is where I want to stop for a second. Because I know someone watching this is thinking, okay, but I do not have anything to sell. I am not an expert in anything. This sounds great for other people, but not for me. And I need you to hear this clearly. That thought is the single most common thought that keeps talented, capable people stuck. Expertise is relative. You know things that other people are actively searching for right now. You have figured out problems that others are currently confused by. You have navigated situations that someone, somewhere is desperately trying to understand. That knowledge has value, real, sellable value. Before I go deeper into the strategy side of this, I want to mention something. We have a program linked down below in the video description that walks through exactly how to build this kind of income stream from scratch. I am going to be transparent with you. Most people who stumble onto information like this watch it, feel inspired, close the tab, and then nothing changes. If you are someone who is actually ready to stop watching your life from the sidelines and start building something real, that link is worth checking out right now before you forget or before you talk yourself out of it. If you are not ready, that is fine too. This video will still give you a lot, But if something in you is already saying yes, trust that. Now back to the mechanics, because I want to make sure you actually understand how this works at a practical level. The weekend-only part of this is the part people find most surprising. When I was building my digital income stream, I was not quitting my job and going all in. That is not what I am suggesting you do either. I was using Saturday mornings. I was using Sunday afternoons. I was using the edges of my existing life, the spare hours that most people fill with scrolling or half-watching TV. And I was directing that energy into building something that would pay me back long after the work was done. Think about the math of this for a second. If you spend just 4 hours on a Saturday and 3 hours on a Sunday, that is 7 hours per week. In a month, that is roughly 28 hours. 28 hours of focused creation over 30 days is enough to build a genuinely solid digital product, a real one. One that solves a real problem and has real value. And then that product can sell indefinitely. I have products that I built over a single weekend that have now generated income every single month for over a year without any additional work from me. 28 hours invested, ongoing monthly return. That is the ROI conversation that nobody is having with you at your 9 to 5. Let me talk about what changes in your daily life when this income stream becomes real, because I think this is where the emotional weight of it really lands. When you have money coming in that does not require your time, the psychological effect is profound. You stop doing mental math every time you spend something. You stop feeling that cold clench of anxiety when an unexpected bill shows up. You stop staying in situations, jobs, relationships, living arrangements that you have outgrown because you are afraid of what happens financially if you leave. That fear is not about money. That fear is about the absence of options. And digital income, even modest digital income in the early stages, begins to give you options back. I remember the first weekend I made enough from digital sales to cover my car payment. I did not even do anything special that weekend. I went to a farmer's market. I took a long walk. I cooked a real meal. And that car payment was covered anyway by something I had already built. That feeling, that specific quiet feeling of not having traded time for that particular outcome, was one of the most genuinely peaceful feelings I have ever experienced as an adult. Let me address something that is quietly separating people who build this kind of income from people who never do. It is not skill level. It is not connections. It is not starting capital. It is the ability to move before you feel completely ready. The people who are winning with digital products right now are not the most qualified people in the room. They are the people who started while they were still uncertain and figured it out as they went. The people who waited until they felt ready are still waiting. Waiting feels safe. But while you wait, those weekends keep passing. Every Saturday that goes by without putting in those few hours is a Saturday that future you cannot get back. The person building their digital income stream this weekend is going to be in a fundamentally different position 6 months from now than the person who decided they would start next month. The window for building in this space is open right now. Digital products are still being discovered by the mainstream. The people who move in the next few months are positioning themselves ahead of the wave, not chasing it after the fact. Everything I have just described, the mechanics, the mindset shifts, the strategy behind building something that sells while you sleep, that is exactly the kind of depth and step-by-step guidance available in the program linked below in the description. Not vague concepts, not theory. Actual application that you can begin this weekend with the hours you already have available. The only question is whether you are someone who acts when they recognize opportunity, or someone who needs to think about it until the moment passes. That program is ready when you are. And the only person who can decide if now is that moment is you.